So this is day 10 with Zephyr, and today is the day that we were moving the Mustangs out of the round pens and getting them in the barn. So for that, I like to use Fledge as a lead horse, so doing a little introduction. Fledgy's really good about this. And so we spend a little time just kind of acclimating and getting Zephyr used to following. You know, he's done pretty good leading in the round pen, but it's very different when you're outside the round pen. So we had already done the other two, my student's Mustangs, so he was the only one left. And you can see he can get pretty worried. So just working on this right here, and then he goes forward. But I have a nice long lead rope, and again, Fledge is pretty good and doesn't really get too bothered by it. So, and of course, then you can see raindrops falling, and so we're getting a little bit of weather in, but so it goes. I'm just going to reestablish with him again and be like, hey buddy, it's okay. Just let him know that he's doing a good job. And it's also just really handy to have that older positive horse that stays relaxed when they get kind of goofy like that. And again, that's kind of like why his nickname is Monkey, because he can sometimes bounce around when he gets a little bit nervous. But I'm not going to kind of let that affect my energy at all. I'm still going to stay nice and relaxed.
That's a good boy.
And we're just going to keep on working with that a little bit more.
There's a suspicious person with a phone.
So he started to get a bit more comfortable moving forward and getting the idea. So I thought it was time to go ahead and get moving forward and trying to get outside the round pen. So crossing that threshold of going outside the round pen and going through the gate can tend to be the hardest thing for them. He's pretty comfortable in his round pen. He knows he gets fed in there. He has his water. So this is a little bit of a point where I just have to wait for him. And I'm just going to try to reassure him and just let him have that time to stand there. Maybe give a little bit of pressure left and right, see if I can move his feet. Because it's like, yes, I've got his head moving forward, and I think, sweet, we're gonna be through this in no time. But in his mind, he does not want to leave the round pen. So we're just going to wait and keep trying to see if I can get that wiggle of movement to get his mind to think forward. Again, Fledgy's being perfect, standing nice and patiently, but again, weather is coming in, so I'm trying not to let that affect my emotion, like, come on, hurry up, we need to go, weather's coming. I'm trying to make sure I stay nice and relaxed and not really worry about the rain coming. So getting him to sniff the ground. All those are good indicators that he's thinking about moving forward. And then sometimes, you know, once they do that, you have to do a little bit of a reset. So I felt like he wasn't really going to go forward. So we're going to give it a shot to try again. And again, it's just been a patience game with him, just getting him to think that he can step over the cross, over the beam, and you can see we went through all of that through the rain. And now I'm having Fledge kind of back up a little closer. It's typical Florida weather though. One minute it's sunny, the next minute it's raining, and then it's sunny again. So now my idea is to really use Fledge a little closer. I trust Fledgy to not kick him. He knows his job pretty well. So now I'm going to add a little bit more pressure on the halter, and then we finally get the step over. And that was honestly a really nice reaction. He quietly stepped over it. Sometimes the gate areas can be a nervous, anxious spot for them, and they want to kind of bolt through. So that's always sometimes when you're taking them out for the first time that they'll get worried about the gate and then kind of bolt through it. But I was really happy with that reaction. And so now we're in the big wide world, and we're going to try to follow Fledgy. And we're all a little wet from that little rain that came through. But so far, he's doing pretty good. Like, he's doing good with walking past my other working student who's filming. So he's pretty good about that kind of stuff. And then we've got my other horses, Henry, who's trying to give us an escort as well. So far, so good. Had to walk past the scary pink tape. And again, I'm just using Fledge as that lead. So then Zephyr doesn't, he can feel a little safer. He's got a horse in front of him. And so now we got to kind of walk through a little bit of this gauntlet here of the trailer and the coyote. We're just taking our time. If he feels like he needs to kind of stop and survey, we can. If he gets a little worried like he did there, I'm just going to ask him to kind of, hey, stop, look at me. And, I have other entrances to the barn, but they can be, there's a lot of other stuff there. So I'm working on just going in through the back of the barn. It's where the stalls are. So it's kind of like minimal stuff that he has to see or go past. So again, we're working coming towards the end of the barn. We also have Fergus and his bell. And then all the other horses come out to say hello. He's handling all this really well. And now the next obstacle will be going from outside to inside. So kind of walking inside the barn where the mats are kind of darker. But he actually handled that pretty well. And now I'm going to ask him to come in the stall. And I was really pleased at how willing he was. We kind of are right there in the middle of that gate. And then he thought, I'm a little nervous. So I just waited, gave him some reassurance, put a little bit more pressure on the halter again. It's the same exercise as when we walked through the round pen, and then he did that really well. I really like my stalls because they're a bit more open for them. And then he was very happy to be in his stall and have his food goodies. He loves to have his stable feed, which he's gobbling up. And yeah, he was a very good boy. Overall, we got all 3 Mustangs in the barn, in the stalls, because we're going to have some really bad inclement weather coming in. And they seemed pretty content with their new little condos, so it was a good day.